Okay, so there's a lot to bring you up to date with. What we face overall is a battle in Italy against censorship, which is really getting very, very interesting. So just to fill you in, and I've got Francesca, my beautiful daughter Imogen, here to tell me when I go wrong, but we did 2 shows in Rome, which finished, we actually got to bed at 1:30 in the morning, which I guess was about 10 o'clock in the morning, Texas time. So
you're
something
wrong.
like that. Doesn't matter. The details are irrelevant. The fact is, it was a very long day. Okay, those went extremely well. Then the following day, we had I had a television interview. No. Then we went to
Start in Rome. You had a radio interview and then a press conference with the Kodakons.
We've done that.
No, you haven't.
Have we told you about that? I think we told you about that.
I'm getting confused.
Anyway, then we went to Florence, and we're going to bring you some wonderful footage of Florence in the next few days. We did a screening in a wonderful little theatre in Florence.
Teatro Spazio Uno in Florence, and if I may, I'm sorry,
No,
but
go
the
on.
owner Giuseppe and the co-owner Caterina were so nice and amazing, because we were banned from the most famous cinema Odeon in Florence, but they said this is a movie that needs to be seen, and they organized everything by themselves, and we got more than 80 people on a rainy night in Florence, and it was chilly to be Florence. So I'm very thankful to Giuseppe and Caterina. Go ahead, sorry.
So
They
Giuseppe,
asked about the
thank you.
press conference. I think we should recap the press conference, even if they know.
Okay, the press conference was held with a group,
Kodakons.
Kodakon,
Kodakons.
who are a group of, it's the Better Business Bureau of Italy. It's a very powerful group of consumer protection lawyers, and they were there to fight the censorship of Vax, which is, censorship is illegal in Italy. So we did a wonderful press conference with them. You'll see some fantastic footage. I mean, the Italians, if nothing else, they're very, very passionate, and they were wonderful. That went very well. So we got a lot of support from them. What they're going to set up as a result of our interaction is a register of all vaccine-damaged children throughout Italy. So they're doing that straight away, in addition to suing the Senate, and now suing, amongst others, perhaps the Italian Medical Association, who've sought to have the film censored, and others. So lawsuits flying around, and they've had some fantastic successes, and they've sent is that right, 2 politicians to jail?
Well, they were part of that, absolutely, because it was clear after an investigation, also because one of them, I think it was Pugliolini, he was clear because they found millions of dollars inside his mattress. That's how they knew.
In his
for
mattress.
Sure.
And this was from the pharmaceutical industry for trying to push vaccine mandates in Italy. Okay?
Yeah.
Money in the mattress. That's a great story.
Yeah,
right
it
there,
is.
okay?
I gotta read you the whole story because it was a few years back, but that's what he did, and then so he was caught. But the problem is that this is how bad the corruption is, because he was put in jail, but his law still stands.
So the law, the mandatory vaccine law that he pushed for taking money from the pharmaceutical industry, which he stashed in his mattress, still stands. How ridiculous is that? So it reminds me of California. Anyway, the next thing we did was to go to Florence. As I say, we'll be sending some great footage of Florence. Wonderful group of people there. A lot of Americans in Florence. So
Someone
we've had a lot of
asked
people
if that mandatory law is a national law.
Yeah.
Yes,
National law.
national law.
So we then we had a very late night. We got up this morning and we went back to Rome.
No, we
That
did
was
the
yesterday.
TV interview yesterday in Rome.
That's right.
after
We went back to Rome to do a TV interview. So we did a TV interview that's coming out
on the 27th.
on
It's
the
going to air on the
27th.
27th.
We'll send you a link to that, and it'll all be. We'll get some translation of that as well. So a big TV station what is it, number 3 in Italy?
Yeah, number 3 in Italy is called La Sette, and it's going to be airing on the 27th about 9 p.m. local time. So we'll probably give it, either, I don't know how fast they put it on the internet, but either that night or the 28th, we'll send the link to everybody.
Okay, then we hired a car this morning, and we cleared out a road, and we came down to the
Amalfi Coast.
The Amalfi Coast, and
where everything is good and beautiful.
And the food is wonderful, and we are staying in a beautiful hotel arranged by Francesca, and we have another Q&A tonight at, guess what, 11:30?
No, 9:30 the show starts, 9:30,
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. What is wrong with these people? I go to bed at 10 o'clock. What is wrong with this? So 11 we have. So it's going to be another late night, okay? Because one thing Italians like to do is discuss things, and so we'll be discussing them for a long time. Then tomorrow we go right down to the heel of Italy. We're going to send you a map of where we're going. If you don't, we're going down to Bari, right down to the bottom, and we're doing a screening there. Then we head back up, step by step by step. At the moment, yep. Francesca,
yeah.
want to say something?
I want to say something because tonight we're going to be at Cava dei Tirreni, which is amazing. It's such a small town, so I hope everybody in the Amalfi Coast, Cava dei Tirreni, it's just in between, it's just close by Salerno. A lot of people in the United States are from Salerno. But the thing is, tomorrow we're going to Bari. We're super happy because everybody always forgets the south of Italy, but Abax doesn't forget anybody. We're going to the deep south of Italy. We're gonna be there. But then, the biggest association in Italy, they try to get to be in Rimini, which is where they have the biggest amount of members, and that's where the first, I think it was the first anyway, the biggest case against the government was won in Rimini. So we want to be there, and we've been banned from Rimini, we've been banned from every movie theater, every hotel, every room that we try to have vax shown, we've been banned because the Doctors Association of Italy, they keep on calling and threatening, and then they call the mayor, and every mayor around that area has been banning vax from being seen. They're so scared. So we're still fighting to find something in that region because there are so many people there, and we have to be there. So, and we know Bari, and after that, we just have to push for it. So if you have any relative in Italy, around Rimini, Bologna, Modena, or Padua, that part of the country, tell them to push for vax, right?
That's right. So it really is a battle against censorship here, and so far we're winning. We played every night, and we're going to go on playing wherever, whenever. So when we get back from Bari, what has happened? We've been offered a theatre in Bologna by a friend of Francesca's who owns theatres throughout Italy. Rimini is where whether you remember, there was a little boy who, MMR, followed by autism. He won in court against GlaxoSmithKline, so that was a huge case. And they don't want it playing. They don't want it playing. They're terrified of this film because it brings the truth, and they do not want the Italian people to know the truth. So we're going to bring it to you. And then we go to Milano. We still don't know the final schedule for Milano. And there I'll be meeting my great friend Federico Balzola, gastroenterologist from the Ospedale Molinette in Torino, who worked in my lab and published some wonderful work on inflammatory bowel disease in children with autism. So really looking forward to seeing you, Federico. I promise I will call tomorrow. It's been a little crazy. And the CDC. The CDC. Let's just dwell for a moment upon the CDC. I've read over the last few days, as many of you have read, about an organization, a government agency in meltdown, a rogue agency over which the government has absolutely no control, apparently. We have whistleblowers coming out saying that this agency, which is there to protect the health of people, has been under the control of pharmaceutical industry interests, of corporate interests, and of government. Undue pressure brought on them to do their job not in the right way, and it's a disgrace. It is a rogue agency, and frankly, it needs to be shut down. It's a disgrace, and we'll be telling that story to the people over here. There was another whistleblower from the CDC who came out about tests for Zika virus. You may well have seen that. The CDC using a test which will grossly overestimate the cases of Zika virus to boost the numbers so that they can push the vaccine agenda. Utter disgrace. It's not science. It's pure corruption, and the CDC's time has come and gone. So the people of Italy, I mean, they must be absolutely terrified now for their own existence, and so they should be. They've just failed everybody. A rogue agency.
They want you as the new CDC director.
Yay! That would be awesome.
Followed by a job with no. Not me.
Well, we forgot to say that actually we got banned from another country too.
No, we got banned from another country. So in Italy there are two small countries within countries. One is San Marino and one is the Vatican City. We have not been banned from the Vatican City, but that's probably because they don't have a movie theatre in Vatican City that we've tried to play. However, that may come, our time may come, but we have been banned from San Marino, which is this small independent principality on the northeast coast of Italy, but we may just go there anyway, so we'll see. We're still trying, we're never going to quit. We'll bring the story. Anyway, how are things in America? How did we still haven't found out how the final debate went between candidates. Any suggestions on how that one went down? Gratefully received. We've just been so busy, been on the road. No, nothing at all? No? Any questions? No questions.
Debate was torture.
Torture, no.
It was a mess, horrible debate. Trump did okay, entertaining. Trump won, more lies on the Dem side.
We shall see. So much rests upon the outcome of this election. I can't tell you. Really, it's a difference between corporate America taking over and some
clever hashtag. I didn't know. I've been DC, but CDC.
I've been CDC.
Like DC, but yeah.
Just the sound of them cooking our food, by the way, but it's rather nothing in here.
What a
do you have any questions back home for Andy or Francesca? Anything on the injunction in California?
No, we know nothing. We've been out of touch with what's going on over there. I've been following the Vax tour, and everything seems to be going extremely well. So, my compliments and greetings to my colleagues.
What is the vaccine schedule in Italy?
Okay, do you mind? I actually have my notes in my bag because I want to be precise, because the main reason why Catacons is so upset, which is basically the Better Business Bureau of Italy, is because in Italy we have 4 mandatory vaccines, but 2 of those are only available in the how do you call it?
6 in 1.
6 in 1.
6 in 1 shot. In the 6 in 1 shot. So there are 4, only these 2 of them you can find on the market a single shot. So to get the other ones, you have to get the 6. So kids end up having all these shots inside of them for no reason, because they're not mandatory. But these are the patents that are on the market. So one of the reasons why the Catacons is really pushing forward is because, and this is very interesting, because in this country healthcare is provided by the state, so the state pays for the vaccines. Now we have a case which is very peculiar, in which the state is paying for those vaccines because it's very hard to explain this.
No, they're paying for vaccines that are not required.
Because they come in the 6 in 1 shot. So we're paying extra 2 shots per kid, despite those 2 shots are not mandatory, but we're paying 1.3 million euros per year to GlaxoSmithKline for no reason, just because they pack those with 2 mandatory ones.
Okay, well, this is a great marketing plan, okay? So you take the vaccines that children do have to have, and you package some of those into vaccines, multivalent vaccines that children don't have to have, and therefore they have to have all the vaccines. They get the mandatory vaccines, and GlaxoSmithKline clean up. Nice one.
So we want to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to have Connor Gomes to do this because this is very, very important. They're wasting money of the government, they're wasting money of the taxpayers, and they're injecting kids with vaccines that are non-mandatory and that nobody asked for, just because they got that deal.
And somebody asked if we can screen the Q&As. We'll work on it. Wi-Fi here is really bad, so I will try. But we will get videos up with the Q&A. We'll be posting one tonight and then one in the morning, so look out for those. But I will try and screen the Q&As, absolutely.
Yeah, our problem in the theatres has been Wi-Fi, so we've tried on Periscope and on Facebook Live, and they've been really, really difficult to do. So what we decided to do is to do some HD footage, capture all of that and cut it into a sequence that tells a daily story, and because we're on the road so much it's difficult to keep up with that, but we will be delivering 2 further video pieces over the next 2 days.
Someone asked, in Italy, can you sue for vaccine injuries?
Yes, you can.
But
You sue the manufacturer.
But
And
through
it was
the cap.
it was GlaxoSmithKline who lost to that little boy in Rimini.
Yeah, it was Rimini, I think there was Palermo, and
There's another case in Genoa at the moment.
there's one that's still going through because they went through the first part, and then Glaxo keeps postponing it. So it was supposed to be in July, and then it was October, and now it's postponed again. They keep postponing. So there's more than one case. It's just, and there was a case that won 2 days ago in Ancona, but that was because the vaccine was not effective. That was the pertussis.
Interesting story. Yeah, it was tell me if I'm wrong, but a man who received the pertussis vaccine, he then got pertussis, and because he got pertussis, he was rendered virtually dead. And he sued the manufacturers for the fact that the vaccine did not work, and therefore he got pertussis. And this is part of that issue of, I would imagine, why the acellular pertussis being ineffective, or at least whatever vaccine he got was ineffective. And he got the disease despite that. So he sued and won. It's interesting.
It just won. I'm looking for it. I think it was 2 days ago because I saw it in the paper. I think it's very hard to get concept of time.
Okay. We'll say goodbye to you now because we're using
Someone
up
asked
our...
how your citizenship interview went.
Oh, I got it. I passed. What's really, really interesting, okay, I went in there and it went really, really well, and he asked me all these questions. I got them right, like my name and my age and that sort of thing. And then he asked me questions about the Constitution and about the founding fathers and the president or something. And then he said, "Have you ever been investigated?" And I said, "Well, I've never been investigated by the law, by the police, but." And he said, "But have you ever been investigated?" He clearly knew. The man knew it was all there in front of him. You never, ever, ever lie. So I said, yes. So 21 years ago, I made the decision to take on the might of the pharmaceutical industry, etc. And the story came out. And he said, "That's fascinating." He said, "I want to watch the movie." So then he said, "I'm going to recommend you for citizenship." So God bless America. See what we can do to bring it back from the brink.
Okay.
And that's a fantastic story.
Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you very much for listening. And we will be back to you tomorrow. We will be back in, where will we do the movie?
No, Bari.
Tonight
Bari
is
tomorrow.
Cava de
Bari
Tirreni, and tomorrow Bari.
Sorry. Okay, so we're...
Ciao.
Ciao.